you've stumbled across Bungo stray dogs against your will and have no clue how to proceed. Like, perhaps, like, a loved one has, like, word vomited to you and you're very confused about how this all relates, like, homeless dogs. Have no fear. So here is a very short and easy breakdown of the series that is Bungo Stray Dogs. It's not overly complicated in the slightest, and there isn't like a million billion characters to keep track of who are, well, totally not broken in their own unique way. Yeah, definitely not. How complicated can it get? Like, you're only taking, like, real life, literally classic authors and then putting them into a mafia alternative universe in which they all have abilities that are all based off their most famous piece of work. How complicated could it get? Say hello to our main protagonist, Atsushi. Yeah, he's just a poor boy and nobody loves him. Trust me, you're going to forget the fact that he is the main protagonist. Trust me. So, freshly out of an orphanage, he saves a drowning suicidal man that would later then prove the fact that Atsushi is a were-tiger. You know, like, as you do, just casually turning into a tiger, and doing so gets him a job alongside him. Because nothing says, like, hey, here's a job interview, like, you almost tried to attack me in your tiger form, so here, come work with us where you have to go save my friends. So, let's meet his very, very, very normal colleagues. Shall we? First of all, how about the guy who can write anything in a notebook and they can just magically appear as long as they're the same size as that notebook? Or how about a lassie who can basically bring you back from the brink of death? Yeah, honestly, the healer to the max. How about a rather dodgy looking pair of siblings where you really have to ignore the relationship even though when it's thrusted upon you so early on, but you just ignore it and always forget that that is a thing. However, one of them can make illusions. A 14-year-old boy who has way too much strength but is actually just full of rays of sunshine and must be protected at all costs. A guy with a heavy sweet tooth that can solve any mystery by literally just looking at it at a glance. Technically not gifted, but practically is at this point. And their dad, who regrets all of his life choices, but is still kind enough to grant everyone the ability to control their abilities to the absolute max. Welcome to the Armed Detective Agency! So, unfortunately for Atsushi, when he was kind of being a were-tiger, he was a bit of a nuisance, and now he has a bounty on his head. As you do. So on top of trying to do his job at the ADA, he's also trying to not get captured by the rival mafia crew, which by any chance is just called the Port Mafia because they are stationed by the port. Smart. Don't think for one moment that the Port Mafia is not full of colourful characters themselves. You know, very normal people. For starters, we have a dying Victorian emo boy who can kill people with his clothes. Yeah. A man way too obsessed with lemons. A trio of hitmen that are quite cool on paper, but they kind of ragdoll out of the ADA's window. So it's kind of hard to take them seriously. The hitman's boss that is way too into the dying emo boy. A 13-year-old that will make you go insane if you just touch them, that could potentially harm them. A 14-year-old stuck to their flip phone that basically moves to the ADA for a dessert. Their mafia's mother figure who shouldn't really be there and is mysterious enough that we don't really know much about them. The head mafia boss who really shouldn't be alive by any means for good reason. Oh, and the suicidal guy's ex-partner, you know, who can just casually manipulate gravity and, oh, also possessed by a god of destruction. You know, just normal mafiosos. Gotta love a series that doesn't have too many characters to keep track of. Gotta love it. Enter the Yank that put the bounty on Atsushi originally, and the rest of his motley crew from the rest of the world in the western side. After being denied his bounty, the rich man takes it very personally and decides, I'm gonna cause havoc and make it everyone else's problem. This includes kidnapping people into a doll's room, bringing out an eldritch beast, trapping folk in a murder mystery novel in which they have to solve it to then get out of it, capturing a child to torture them, to then make them use their ability to then torture the city. And having a huge ass metal whale of an airship haunting the skies. Despite initially helping the rich Yank with his bounty, he pisses off the port mafia that much that they team up with the ADA to help stop him. Now, imagine this. Your ability is that the more money you spend, the more powerful you become. Yet you get absolutely destroyed by a Victorian emo and a cat that hate each other. Meanwhile, the ex-partners are just like bickering like an old couple whilst they take down your eldest god by bringing out their god. It's a god battle. And you've lost. Big time. And so the city was saved by bankruptcy. Yeah. After their defeat, the motley crew go their separate ways to avoid jail and whatnot, and thus the list of characters to keep track of has reduced. But not for long! Here comes a Russian rat on his way to make the world burn as he sits back and plays his cello. You know, casual bad guy stuff. But only after he plays a card game to get his freedom. But anyway, watch as the human rat stabs the port mafia boss, and run away like an absolute idiot. All the while, our tired dad also gets a matching stab. How convenient. Now tied together with a cursed poison ability, which only one of them can survive, meaning the other must die. Cue the ADA and the port mafia going head to head against each other to try and get the other bosses killed. So, expect illusions, a lot of lemons, and getting trapped in a book as you scream your head off. But in the most majestic way. Not that really matters though, because the two bosses sneak off and have their own one-to-one death battle to determine who lives and who dies, so that the others can stop fighting each other, all to be told off by a cat. No, I'm being serious. They get told off by a fucking cat. Well, technically he's actually a human, but he just likes to go in his cat form a lot, and he's suspiciously, around, a lot, and likes to follow certain characters. Whilst they're duking it out, the Rat King himself is causing some issues for the ADA members that are trying to solve the issue, and yeah, he doesn't really limit himself to trying to cause trauma by, exploding up some kids. Yeah, it's actually unfortunate how that is actually a theme within this show. I wish I was joking. Poor kids. In comes our favourite pair, the cat and the emo, who are still trying to work things out about how to work together, despite that they've fought against each other so many times, but also worked together so many times. What is wrong with you? However, despite their bickering, somewhat on Tiger Back, they're successful in taking down the gifted that put the curses on their bosses, and the Rat King is, apprehended in a cafe by none other by the beloved suicidal man who just conveniently knows too well how things are going to go. Yeah, you really need to watch that man. He's not what you think he is. So things are all fine and dandy then. Everything's back to normal. Think again. Our sweet loving detective prodigy gets wrapped up in a unsolvable case, all because of a pretty boy who has the ability to hide criminal evidence. Though that doesn't stop our best detective cracking the case. The moment the pretty boy is hijacked by a clown during his arrest, future events have already been set into motion. Through a cautionary warning, accompanied by some gunshots. Doesn't matter though, because the ADA still accepts the mission despite the warning, and wow! Maybe they should have listened, because now they're on the run, as they've now been framed for being terrorists, because they killed the clown man and some very highly respected people. So, now on the run, they're now getting chased by some very particular hunting dogs that will basically ruin their lives if they ever get near them or ever get caught by them. Yeah, let's just say that you might get stabbed a few times, and that's not the best. Especially if you're in a chest. Multiple times. Not everyone is on the run. Our favourite suicidal man has ended up in the exact same prison as the Rat King. In Europe of all places. mostly just to keep track of them, and they basically spend their whole time one-upping each other in the most stupidest ways, whilst everyone else is fighting for their lives. As you do. In trying to prove themselves innocent, Achushi, you know, the main protagonist, yeah. Well, him and a few others end up at a sky casino, basically to get information from their beautiful owner. However, he's a little bit busy fighting off the dogs who've been hunting them. Because as you see, the beautiful man is also not exactly innocent himself. And throughout the casino, he has been distributing exploding money. So, despite that Ashley now tries to help the man to get the information, he fails in that because the pretty man falls off the sky casino, but because they've been seen helping him, they now look even more guilty. So, Ashley and the crew have failed to try and make themselves look better because they lost their opportunity to get the information that they needed, but they also look even worse by saving a man that is very guilty. So in other words, they've lost an opportunity to make themselves look good and prove their innocence. However, there's a will, there's a way, and my god, do the sillies in prison have that all worked out. For you see, all of this is happening because there is this thing called the book within this universe, and if you write in it in a cohesive way, basically anything will come to life. So upon writing within this book that the ADA turned into terrorists, they also conducted stupid rules to go with it, which includes people not even taking the ADA seriously if they're actually given it any evidence that they're proven innocent. However, rules are always meant to be broken. Needing more pain? Don't worry. There's a ton of backstory that will rip your heart apart. How about an orphan not knowing their place in the world because they're extremely misunderstood? Or how about a young child getting used as a war weapon, basically bringing armies back to life to make them fight forever? How about two 15-year-olds who butt heads trying to figure out the true origins of themselves and where they stand in life? Or how about a teen whose life is drastically changed upon the death of their closest friend and being betrayed by their other? So really, how do you like your pain? Because plenty of it is there. Now, this has only covered what's in the anime. Do you dare go down the path that is the manga and light novels? The pain that is yet to come and the pain of it might not get animated. Heed this warning, you're not ready for what's going to come. There's also a film in which people get attacked by their own abilities and there's a dragon fight. What more can you ask for? If you've made it this far, congratulations! You're probably more confused than you were at the beginning. Welcome to Big O Stray Dogs. Would you believe me that this barely covers anything? You should. I hope you enjoy your complicated journey into this fruity depression where things make no sense but you're sad anyway. Until next time. And that was a breakdown. Horrendously done.